Hello beautiful souls, welcome to my channel Cosmic Contracts with Princess Starlight. Now, who am I? I'm an intuitive channel and emotional karmic healer, because karma is nothing but the energy that you have accumulated inside, and we say it as good and bad, but it's just experience, plain and simple. Experience, you collect energy via emotions, and that is what is becoming your karmic baggage that you carry forward. Before the awakening, I was and I'm still a lawyer. So I was creating these slides and this tagline came today to me: I feel to heal. I don't know whether you like it or not. You can let me know in the comment section, but I do like it because this is what happened to us, to all the mediums, light workers, star seeds, because when we were born, nobody told us we were empaths, and we kept absorbing other people's thoughts, energies, judgments, and until it, just we kept absorbing and absorbing like a sponge. But then there comes a time that the sponge becomes heavy and you need to squeeze it out. You need to squeeze the water out. In the same way, now in our energy bubble, for all the empaths out there, we kept absorbing. We did not know that we are absorbing or we need to clear it. And then one day when it got filled like a blast, you know, it something bursted within us, and that's when we realized that, okay, we need to, there's something going on here. And then that's when we started to understand about boundaries, why energy boundaries are needed, why we need to be very clear of what we stand for, what are our thoughts and beliefs, and the thoughts and beliefs of others. So that's why I realized I feel to heal. All right, enough of that. Now I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek into the work desk from where I started this channel. It's very close to me. So this white table and chair, and if you can see Hanumanji, Archangel Michael is also there, but he's in the other room. So this that has all the angels, plants, and candles. So that's another place. But this is the place where I would sit to, you know, work on my channel. All right. Now, what are we going to do today? Let's see. First, very important thing that I forgot, because I keep talking to Lord Ganesha as well, but then I forgot to invite him. Like verbally I did, but then to properly invite him on one of my videos to bless for the removal of obstacles. I did not do that, so I'll take this opportunity inviting him and asking him, praying him to, bless me and remove the obstacles. And I created my own prayer. So this is the prayer, a tiny prayer that I created for myself. Why am I taking a moment to introduce Lord Ganesha? You can believe in, you might have your own god and goddesses, you must believe in your ascended masters, or you might not believe in anything, but you do believe that there is a higher power. And sometimes when you get locked in challenges and you cannot find a way out, or there are many obstacles, then you have your individual divine connection and you might call upon them. So whether you start something, whether it's your day-to-day life, keep inviting them. So he's one of the gods, the remover of obstacles, and that's why I invited him to my today's episode. Thank you, Lord Ganesha, for being here. I love you. All right. Now moving on. Today we are on episode 36B, where we are going to talk about feminine energy and wounded feminine energy. But before we do that, let's cover the points what I'm going to cover in today's slide. The first is I will be giving you a recap of masculine and wounded masculine energy. I had done the episode already. I'll be talking about that. then feminine energy power. So that will be, then we'll start with the feminine energy when it's empowered or it's healed or it's functioning properly. Then what happens? Then we'll talk about the disempowered traits of the feminine energy. Then through a story of Shiva and Shakti, I will try to explain Lord Shiva and Lord Parvati. I'll try to explain which energy is more important, and in a way I'll try to come to the point why divine feminine is needed. It is needed that the divine feminine should heal and take back its power to rise up for new Aquarius age. The challenges that are going to come forward, the divine energy needs to come back to power. So when I say divine and a female, I'm not talking about females. I'm talking about the energy that's present in everybody, male or female. Okay. Now, a little recap on the masculine energy that I did. All right. So I talked about that. Remember, so this was 36A episode where I talked about that the masculine energy is what you're using in your outer environment. It's the giving energy. All right, and it's basically it's the energy that you're using in your day-to-day life every day outside of you. And when this energy is active or it's empowered in you, okay, what 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 does this bring to you? Then the traits are that you're focused, you have confidence, you are logical, there's stability in you, clarity in you, assertiveness. All right, you are able to take risks, goal driven energy, the power of decision making, organizing, creating. Okay, and these are when the masculine energy is functioning to the best level and healed. Then coming to the wounds that I had discussed before are that, remember that they're not expressing their emotions because they believe that expressing emotions means that it's a vulnerability. And now when you're not expressing your emotions, remember you're filling something in and you're not letting it out. Okay, so what's going to happen? You are getting defensive, closed, or guarded. Then you become aggressive or controlling. Okay, now controlling, now when we see partners, we all have seen partners where one is always possessive. What is possessiveness? Possessiveness is clearly showing that this soul is insecure and has a fear of loss, and therefore they want to possess, they want to keep a control over you, right? They don't want you to go. They're highly impatient, hyperactive. So when people say we have ADHD and ADHD, what is happening is that your masculine energy is extremely hyper, and it's the wounded masculine side. Then the energy, if wounded, can be abusive as well. Abuse can be at any level, be it mental, emotional. Like in law, we used to study about intentional infliction of emotional distress. So this was intentional infliction, i.e., intention infliction of emotional distress, IIED. That's a part of abusive, because emotionally, if I get hurt or traumatized, then this is something we generally use, especially in the foreign countries, because there people are really sensitive and they really take care about their emotions. All right. And they always want to compete. They never want to collaborate, because compete means they're trying to prove their worth. That means they're not feeling their worth somewhere. They lack that self-worth, and therefore they are continuously competing to prove their point. Okay. Now, okay, coming to that was the recap of masculine. Now we are going to come to the feminine energy. Now, if the feminine energy is functioning properly or is empowered, firstly, it's the internal energy. So inside, something is nurturing you, it and that feeling nurtures you, that every morning you get up to do something. There are times, obviously, like I did this complete career shift, all right, and there are times, in spite of knowing that yes, this is my path, I'm very well guided, I still at times feel that am I, because you get into those self-doubt moments at times, and that happens, but internally there's a feeling that says it's all right. That gut feeling, it says no, you're doing very good. Sometimes you are your own motivator, see. So it's an internal energy, and it's receiving, and it is receiving from somewhere, this thoughts, these informations, and from where it is receiving, like this world is completely showing us that there is a structure, there is a system, and we are all part of the system, right? But nobody is talking about the unseen worlds, this worlds of energy, metaphysical. We are not talking about these. We don't know how many worlds and how many different kind of beings are out there. All right. So that is another huge topic. Now let's talk about the feminine energy. So it's the eternal power, it's receiving, okay, and it's not logical. So what it is, it's more related to the nurturing energy, the mother. Just remember your mother. She's the nurturing one, the compassionate one, kind. No matter what you do, no matter how bad you have a day, she's always loving towards you, just like Mother Gaia. So she's creative. She brings out your creativity if it's healed. Every soul is unique, and every soul has some form of creativity to express their uniqueness. Remember, like, we have this fingerprint system today, okay? Without that, we cannot open our phones, our tablets, our laptops, even access to the office. So this energy, if it is healed, it's unique to you. Yes, these are the common traits, but how one is expressing these energies, that is unique, right? And everything is unique. So like, for me, everybody in my house is very creative as well, like being intellectual and at the same time creative. And I was like, what is my creativity? But as I started, on the spiritual path, I found that my way of drawing, I mean, it's definitely not professional like the other people, but the way I draw, it's very different. And when I do that, I get into a different zone. I used to be a trained classical dancer, and I did not dance for very long, but now with the spiritual awakening and knowing that dancing is a form of releasing the energy, I still don't feel confident to go back on the stage, but at least in front of my God, I do perform a small dance to release the energy. It's like a spiritual meditation for me, because I don't find myself sitting for meditations for longer periods. So the way I ground my energies is cooking, dancing, spending time in nature, or painting or drawing, anything, just rough work. Now, enough of that. Now, if this energy is functioning properly, then your feminine energy needs no permission. It feels its worth. She knows she's worth it because she's able to create, she's able to birth that creation. She is getting those ideas, those messages from the divine, okay, from her higher self. So she is in tune, and if she is in perfect tune with those energies, do you think somebody like that would need validation or would like to check in with somebody like, what is my worth? No. So she knows her worth. The feminine energy, once fully active, knows her worth. She honors and respects her truth. For most of the star seeds and light workers, owing to your truth, standing to your truth, expressing your true self is very important. With this messages of being true to myself started coming again and again, but I was not true to myself. I was still hiding in the closet. And yes, in a way, I'm still hiding in a closet, but at least I have moved out of the closet and, stepped out a little further. And I feel that with time, when I feel it's not like all of a sudden you just step out and be like, this is me, because clearly there will be people who are not going to accept you. So it's okay to take your time, but at least you need to stand to your truth inside of you before going out and expressing. I believe you expressing it to yourself that I'm repeating it, I am so and so. I am so and so. You are clearly creating the boundaries of who you are versus the rest. Okay, and I have mentioned this for light workers, that light workers have chosen families with generations of karma. So necessarily what you have gone through or you're going through, it might not be your karma. Okay, so you have to really start seeing in between the lines. They are really fine lines, and go deep within to find the patterns that are theirs, the thoughts and beliefs that belong to them, and what belongs to you. So it's very, very important. Okay, then strong boundaries. I think I just covered the topic. Strong boundaries. They are very expressive because they do not follow the structure or system. They just feel in their heart space through their intuition and divine connection, and then they express. And remember, we are taught that we have to use our mind, and but nobody is telling you, because when you get into spirituality, you realize that your heart, it's the center, it's the magnetic center, and it is 1,000 times more powerful than your mind. Okay, and the last is, I think these points also I covered: intuitive, gentle, caring, loving. Yes, vulnerability is strength. Because when females express, when the feminine energy, sorry, not the females, the feminine energy, when that expresses, she is releasing the emotions, she's clearing the closet to invite the new, the unseen feelings, energies. So she feels she's truly tuned into this concept. She's wired that vulnerability is not weakness, unlike the masculine, but she thinks that it is the strength. Remember, I told you the story of how I apologize, that how the females in olden times, they started going out when they were bleeding during the moon cycle, and they would go out together in the group, because this is I still do not understand the concept, but then when women are around in the same space, their period cycle, their menstruation cycle, it gets kind of synced to one another. So back in the olden days, these women would go out of the tribe, and then they would spend their time, and moon hormone really affects the feminine energy in the body, and female having the body, the physical vessel as a female, it brings all together a very different energy in them. So when they started, sitting together, expressing, releasing, they started getting these intuitive messages, and they kind of became more powerful. So the masculine energy, because it's looking for logic, and in its logic and structure, it could not find from where this is coming. So anything out of the structure that is not logical to explain to them, they just couldn't take it. And that is why the masculine energy, actually, it got scared. But the masculine energy is portrayed from the man human vessel. Okay, so that's why we say men did this. Yes, I know it's the men who have done terrible things, the masculine, but it's the masculine energy that got afraid and did it. Okay, so in gender we can still keep putting labels: man, transgenders, gays, lesbians, females. But the truth is that it's all the entire game is of energies. Okay, and then yes, surrender. We truly believe that when you do your best and surrender the fruit of your labor, or if you cannot understand anything, you're in a really tough phase. Okay, let's take, you're going through a very very dark phase, abusive relationship, toxic relationship, financial issues, whatever it is. Okay, whatever it is, you're going through that tough phase and you really don't know what to do. I will say, just try to surrender once. Just tell to universe or your higher power, aliens or councils of your star families or whoever you believe in, or just even if you believe in your higher self or your own, that you are responsible. That's the very good thing, that yes, we are responsible for our actions. That's very true. But there are times when you cannot do anything, and the only thing you need to do is surrender. Okay, so at times when you cannot do, just try this and see what happens. Okay, okay, I don't know what I put there. Let's see if I can move on to another slide. Oh, finally. Okay. Okay, now if your feminine energy is wounded or it is disempowered, okay, now when you look back to thousands of years, we are seeing the domination of masculine energy, and with the new Aquarius age coming in, the feminine power needs to rise up and needs to take back its power, because your feminine energy is the one that is creating, getting creative ideas, inspiration, and birthing new ideas into the world. Okay, so through mind, through emotions, and physically, when the higher souls in future are going to come, everything needs to be created. The energies need to rise, and this can only happen when the feminine energy, the wound, is healed, and for thousands of years, this wound is collected. So if any woman on this planet says that, she's entirely healed, and even for the men, because men do not have the physical wound, but they do have the sacral chakra, the womb chakra in their energetic body. So if anybody is trying to tell me that, they have no scar or no wound, then I am not going to believe it. I'm sorry, because for thousands of years, families after families, generation after generation, the feminine has been damaged, be it the female body or the man body, but it's your energy actually that has been damaged. And if the feminine is getting damaged, so is the masculine it has definitely got damaged or wounded. I would say not damaged, it's the wrong word. It's got wounded somewhere along the line. Okay, but then we are seeing the aggression, the toxicity of masculine nature, and we are saying that out loud on the collective level. Why is this happening? Because the masculine energies were never taught that they can also express, they can also feel, they also can have their intuitive powers, and they can be assertive about it, right? And when they were asked to shut, they do not even know that they can express it altogether. So what is going to happen? Aggression, control, abuse of power. We are seeing this not just from individual level, from individual or in families or in societies, but at global level. We see the role of power, domination, control, all these games. All right, and the balance between male and female, we can clearly see that it's there is a huge division, and this gap needs to fill. So obviously it's going to take some time, another century or so, but we have to start somewhere, so that slowly and slowly this gap starts to become less. All right, let's come to, oh yes, this this sentence is really beautiful. Be careful how you are talking to yourself, because you are listening. So beautiful. I It's only after my awakening that I realized that before others, I was the one abusing myself, being very critical, very judgmental about my own self. If I did something wrong, I would say such mean things to me, and I never realized that. It's only when I started doing these journaling practices, meditation, and I started sitting and writing. Oh my God, I found how negative I wrote and talked to my own self. And it took some time, some work to change it. And at times I still go back into the pattern, but quickly with these practices, I have learned to pull myself back and appreciate myself, be compassionate to myself, kind to myself, loving to myself at times. So, if the energy is wounded, then this person feels insecure. Codependent relationship is another huge topic, let me tell you, because this means that there are two people altogether who are dependent on each other, be it for mental support, physical support, emotional support, financial support, but they are dependent on each other for so many things. Okay, then, so I think that's another separate thing. I'll see if I want to make a video, but you can find many articles and I mean, many YouTube channels and episodes that talk about codependent relationships. Basically, you're trying to find somebody on whom you can latch on to because you're feeling insecure, or there's feeling of abandonment in you, and that's why you need the other person. Lack of trust and belief in your own self, that you are enough to provide everything to your own self. That is the message. Manipulative is another point, that they know how to manipulate. We have all seen such people in our life and how they can manipulate. Another point is shame and guilt. Yes. Now, shame and guilt is are the experiences where, even as a joke, something was said, but you know not everybody realizes that how sensitive we are, because empaths are really sensitive. So anything said to us is like, stabbing us literally. But like in my family, everybody is like very tough, masculine. So when I say, oh, I'm sensitive, they just make fun of me. Okay, now I have learned to deal with it and take it lightly, but it shouldn't be taken that lightly, because sometimes you don't understand that the other person in front of you might not be able to take these things. Now, feelings of guilt. Okay, now it you must have listened your parents say that we did so much for you, and this is how these are your numbers. Like for me, I always had half my report card like half report card used to be red ink basically. And it was like, when I did anything wrong, I used to feel so guilty, because I know what the response is going to come from my parents or from my teachers or elders in the family. And this guilt, this makes you feel like, I I am the wrong one, and I do not deserve the love and affection from these people, because I am a bad person. Okay, and these feelings combined together is what is actually creating feelings of unworthiness in you. Okay, unworthiness is in short now related to your low self esteem, and that is where your inner child inner child work comes. So what is inner child work? Like in your childhood, from your outer environment, that includes your parents, your siblings, your extended family members, your school, friends that you have, your teacher, your society interactions, all these things that the outer world was for you as a child. You absorbed something. They said something, and how did it make you feel? You If you will just sit with yourself, you will realize how something was said to you. Maybe they did not mean to. This is how they are, their intentions are. You never know, maybe their intentions are pure, but you feel things in a certain way, and some are tough, some are sensitive. So appreciate your sensitivity, I would say. Do not think, why am I not tough like them? Okay, so the experiences you have collected as a child, and some definitely are coming from your past life experiences, are creating inner child issues. And this is associated to your sacral chakra. And sacral chakra, as I have done an episode, is the storing pot of all your feminine energies, your past feminine energies from generation of your family, and collective as well, collective consciousness of the society or the planet we are living right now, like we are on right now. Okay, so remember again, shame and guilt experiences are creating feelings of unworthiness, feeling that I'm not worthy of love or affection or getting gifts, or what small things are, just stabbing your worthiness. And this is creating low self-esteem in you, and low self-esteem is usually coming from your child. It's usually what you've collected in your childhood experience, creating your inner child work. That's why shadow work is very important in order to ascend in your spiritual path, because it's like an added weight. Okay, you can fly. You think you have done some work, and then you start to fly. Okay, remember, like a bird flying, and then she flies 2 3 layers above, and then all of a sudden she's pulled down, because that weight of the wound is still there. So until and unless you heal those wounds, especially your inner child issues, you won't be able to rise much higher that you were actually meant to. So let's take a scale. Okay, so we are at third level right now, and with this new earth we are supposed to go into the 5D of love and light. So you now realize, oh, I'm awakened and this is what I have to do, and you start to fly. You're filling your bodies with the energies of love and light and divine light and all those things. But what you're forgetting is that there is a shadow of dense negative energies sitting right in you. And until and unless you remove that trash, you clean that space inside of you, no matter how much love and light you absorb in your body, in your aura and all those things, you might get some benefit, but you won't actually touch the actual potential that you might have reached seventh or eighth standard. That is never going to happen. You might just touch the tip of fourth dimension, but because of the weight, you'll be stuck in third dimension. So that's why you really need to cut that shadow, cut those ties that are no longer serving you. All right, then the next is seeking validation. Remember, if you're in tune to your feminine energy, you know your intuition, your gut feelings, they're taking you on the right path. So you don't need validation. But if it's wounded, you're definitely looking for other people pleasing attitude, always trying to please people. Right? And how long are you going to put on that mask? Because the day you stop people pleasing these people, are they going to love you back, or are they going to spend another moment with you? Think about that. Emotional blackmail. We always hear, like our mothers, oh my god, she's such an emotional blackmail. Why is this coming again and again? Emotional blackmail. Next time, like I sometimes used to do emotional blackmail or create drama. Like in my family, I was known as drama queen, and I feel this is another thing, that your feminine is wounded. And you do not realize that actually. You think that, oh, and people actually enjoy that. So you think that, okay, fine, they're enjoying, but you do not realize that it's some wounded energy in you. And then desperate for love is another. You're going out after you're changing your partners, one partner another. Sometimes people just have a breakup and they're saying go for a rebound, and I never understood the concept of rebound, because I mean, this is not some product that you're buying. You invested emotional time with somebody, and I've seen people changing partners quickly, one after the other, thinking that's the right way to go about. One goes, it's fine, we'll have the other one. No, that is a wound. You cannot. You might think that, oh, this person has gone, and now quickly and jump into another and rebound and all those things. What is happening is you have shared energy with this one, and if you're not going to heal that energy and you jump into other person's energy, you're taking in a lot of energy of other people inside of you. Not just by having sexual intimacy, but even through mental, emotional, physical touches, normal handshake, hugs, you're absorbing. So because there's lack. You do not love yourself. The feminine, the divine feminine, loves herself. She cares for herself. She honors, she respects, and she is standing in her authentic integrity, full integrity, right? And she loves herself. So when that is wounded, she's running behind here and there for love. That this person should love me, that person should love me. But we know the end of the story, that sooner or later, that love does not last for long. Okay, now divine masculine and divine feminine. Coming to a small story. Now, if your divine masculine, it's like, the masculine energy is all cleared up and proper functioning, completely active to its highest potential, then direction, purpose, like if you see the general of an army or a king in olden days, or the leaders, they have direction, purpose, they're so clear, while the rest will still keep figuring out, okay, they know the direction and they'll still think whether it's the right one or not, right? But they're so clear. It's like, it's like mm, laser, laser view, the direction, purpose. They are free, they are always aware of their surroundings, and they are very calm. Remember, the wounded masculine is impatient, but the divine masculine is very calm. With that, it's just the trait of Lord Shiva. So in Hinduism, Lord Shiva and Devi Parvati, known as Shiva and Shakti, are the representation of divine masculine and divine feminine. Okay, so Goddess Parvati is always shown as like this mother who's very well, she loves and she takes care of all the children, and she's very compassionate. Like, if with a very pure intention, if you have problem with your, they say, if you have problem with your love life or finding a husband, because she prayed for, I feel, thousands or lakhs of years to get Shiva as her husband. So if anybody with a pure intention prays to them, they get their divine counterpart. Not just, it's not just, people say it's just for females that they should do this prayer to get their divine counterpart. Anybody can do that, male or female, irrespective of that. They are a divine, powerful couple which we look up to, right? So, and if your divine feminine is fully functioning, like it has reached its full capacity, then she's very loving, like unconditional love, very nurturing. She's voice of encouragement. Remember, a strong woman is always going to encourage other people to rise up. All right, she's the Shakti. Shakti is power. And when you have the power, the divine feminine, remember, she is the one creating and then birthing the creation. So she is the one to bring in new things. So as we move more and more into new Aquarius age and we heal the divine feminine, we'll see new ways, not just physically getting a child into this world, but different ways of living a life, a more peaceful life, a more kind of more sustainable life for all. Society, like people are now coming with different ideas, very new ideas of how they can, live in harmony, not just with the human community, but with plants, animals. So these are new creations, new inspirations, new ideas that will keep flowing out as we work and heal our energies. Even the when we talk about toxic masculine energy at full rise, abusing use like abuse of power and all those things, what I see is that they are starving for love of the divine feminine. Not that dirty love, the sex part. I'm saying in terms of energy, the energy of, you must have seen in your houses, there are few people, when you go around them, you're like, okay, I just need to leave this person's room. And then there are other people, you just want to be with them. You just feel sense of calmness and peace in them. Next time, when people come into your house or go out of your house, see how the energy changes. And so they are lacking, the masculine energy on the collective is lacking the love, the nurturing, the compassion, and that is why it's becoming so toxic at so many levels. Okay, so now which energy is more needed? That's a good question. With that, I'll tell you a very beautiful story. So this goddess that you see, she's sitting on the throne. She's the avatar of Goddess Parvati. She's known as Goddess Annapurna. In our Indian culture, we say that people who make good food, like if you do not have enough food, then you can pray to Goddess Annapurna. She is the goddess of food. She gives food to her children, and we all are like children. So why is she giving, God Shiva? She's serving something to Lord Shiva. Do you see that with the spoon, and he's holding a bowl? So it's a very beautiful story. Now we know that Parvati Ma, she got Lord Shiva with thousands or millions years. She did a spiritual tapasya or prayer, and that's how Lord Shiva, the entire universe, and the gods and goddesses in the universe, they had to, like plan a way of how these two are going to meet, and everybody worked in their favor to unite them, and it took a lot of time actually. So I would say a few hundred centuries or so. And what happens is now they are married finally, and one day they are playing this dice game. Do you see the cross in between Lord Shiva and Parvati Ma? So they are playing dice, or in the olden days this was called chokri. I don't know if you have heard the term. So they were playing, and some argument happens, like Lord Shiva puts his trident first and he loses the bet, so his trident is gone, and then he again bets his snake, and the snake is gone again to Parvati Ma, and then he had some tiff. They get into argument or something, and what happens in the end is that he ends up saying that everything is illusion, and even this food is an illusion. To which Goddess Parvati says that if food is illusion, then are you trying to say that I am an illusion? So remember, he's the divine masculine and she's the divine feminine. So she's asking, like, do you think so? Am I too an illusion? And then she vanishes from there. She says okay, and then she leaves Himalaya, like the place where they reside. It's on top of Himalaya, they say, and she lives from there for another thousands and thousands of years. Now what happens is the food that she's talking about, it's the symbolism of the nurturing energy. When you eat food, you get energy to function, you feel replenished, nurtured. The food nourishes every part, every corner of your body. And now scientifically we know that we are made of molecules, atoms, and every atom, every molecule is absorbing energy from the food that you eat. So food is the symbol, so it's symbolizing that food is symbolizing the nurturing, the loving energy that fills us and we feel full. So she vanishes for another thousands of years. And now what happens is slowly, everything around her on the planet Earth, because she provides nurturing to planet Earth and the souls also, everything starts to become barren. The trees, they lose their leaves, their shine, they become very dry and very like, have you seen those barren places, how they look, and then the other green place, right? So this everything becomes barren, and then the souls on the planet, they start to cry because now they are hungry, and they are crying and they are howling very badly. So that's when Lord, um, um, Goddess Parvati, or the avatar Annapurna ji, she comes back. Okay, she comes back and then she starts to make food, the porridge. And when she starts to make the porridge, the smell of the food, again, a symbolism of how your energy of nurturing, providing warmth, comfort, will automatically attract the souls who are starving or deprived of that. So when the smell rises from her food, everybody's rushing towards her to eat the food. But the first person to stand in front of her with that bowl to have the food is no other than Lord Shiva. So with this story, what do you understand? Please let me know. Alright? Because I feel clearly the message is that both are equally important. If you have any other perspective or interpretation, then just let me know. All right. So with that, I end this beautiful story. Thank you to both the god and goddess, the divine masculine and feminine energy. Now, next episode, because this episode really went really wrong. So next I'll be talking about chakras, and I'll see how long this is going. So I might divide it into two separate videos. I'll talk about chakras that are associated with the masculine and feminine energy. Then how you are going, because we now talked about wounded masculine and feminine, but you're wondering what about healing, right? So ways you're going to heal this, I'm going to talk about that in my next video. And what is what will happen if the energies are overactive or underactive, blocked, or they are more like, sometimes what happens is there is no energy in that particular chakra, or sometimes there's more energy than needed in that chakra. So the imbalance, basically, I'm going to talk about that. All right. If you really like this, then please like, subscribe, share, comment. All right. If you're stuck, you feel you're stuck in a pattern, then reach out to people. If you don't want to reach out to me, then there are communities out there. All right, they are today providing safe space for you to let out your emotions and heal. If you still don't feel comfortable with the community or meeting anybody else, then work with your own self. That's more than enough. Pick up your pen and paper and just sit with yourself. If you cannot sit for long hours, if you're somebody who just keeps jumping around, then I would suggest sit with yourself for 1 minute every hour. So 49 minutes you work, do whatever you want to do. 59 minutes, do whatever you want to do. And then the last minute, 1 minute, just sit with yourself and see what were the thoughts, feelings, or emotions that you went through in those 49 minutes. Just do a quick review, and as you start doing this review, you'll see automatically certain new things, new information will come out of your subconscious mind. All right. So let me know how you like these slides, and was this information, something that you were looking for, or is there something more that you're looking for? And in the end, thank you. Eternally grateful to my protectors, Archangel Michael and Hanumanji, always surrounding me with their protective energy and keeping me safe. Thank you to them, to angelic realms, to Ascended Master Saint Germain, ancestors, star families. I mean, there's so many out there I know. Here in this physical world, I am, maybe right now, I am alone, but I have an entire army coming from there. As I had said in the letter that I wrote to Archangel Michael, that I truly feel that I have an entire army from those worlds. They are unknown, they're unseen worlds to many of us, but we are now feeling the connection. So with that, I'll end today's episode. Do let me know how you found this episode. With lots of love and light, Princess Starlight.